One of the best things about working on two challenges at once is when you are procrastinating for one, you can totally work on the other. So for a Veda video today, I am going to do the Camp NaNoWriMo Tag that Burgess Taylor came up with. Question number 1, what are you working on for Camp NaNoWriMo? So I'm working on a novel. I think it kind of falls under the genre of magical realism. It's a story, it's written in the first person. It's a story of a lady who goes to an island and she's really sad. And she meets this little 8-year-old boy. And it turns out the little boy is not real. And the little boy is actually like the child self of an estranged friend of hers. And the little boy is trapped on the island and he really wants to go home. So she has to figure out a way to get the little boy home. Number 2, what is your goal for Camp NaNoWriMo? My goal is 25,000 words, and it is currently, as I'm recording this, day 3 at about 1:30 in the morning, and I have 440, so I have a ways to go, because I kind of didn't do anything on day 2. Other than posting my camp group with some of the, dilemmas in my head that I need somebody to give me permission to, skip over. Number 3, what is your favorite survival or go-to item for surviving camp? So I don't really know because this is really the first time I've done anything like this, but so far I feel like the item that is my go-to item right now is my pillow. Because anytime I get freaked out, I go climb in my bed and hug my pillow. And that makes me feel better. Because if this was like a real summer camp, that's probably what I'd be doing. I'd be the little kid who is totally out of her element and just wants to hide in bed holding her pillow because, oh my god, this is so crazy. Number 4, how long have you been participating in nano events? So this is kind of a funny story in the sense of I have had a nano account for forever. I'm pretty sure I made it in 2001. It might have been 2002, but I'm pretty sure it was 2001 because I remember how the event almost didn't happen because they had way more people than they expected and their website crashed. I very vividly remember that. However, despite the fact that I have had a account forever, I have never actually fully participated in a nano event. Usually what happens is I get really excited at the beginning, I'm totally going to do it this year, and then I get somewhere between 200 and 500 words in, and then I just stop. It has literally been the same story for me every year for the past 16 years. At the end of October, around the 30th, I'm like, I'm totally gonna do nano this year. And I don't have any actually idea for a book or anything, but I'm totally gonna do nano this year because it's such a great idea. And then I get about 200 to 500 words into whatever my little project is, and then I realize I don't really got anything, and I'm busy, so, yeah, I'm not gonna finish this. So my goal for this NaNoWriMo is to actually, participate. And even if I don't make my word goal, I at least want to be engaged until the end of the month. I don't want to get, 2 days in and be like, fuck it. Number 5, what software are you using for your writing? I'm just using Google Docs because it's free. Number 6, do you handwrite your novels? This is something I am doing some sort of internal battle with because I really want to handwrite more because I find it's a much more, I don't know, connected process than typing it, because if I type, I edit while I'm writing, and I don't really want to do that. So there is an argument that I have towards handwriting, but at the same time, I also like to have a word count, and I am fucking lazy, and I do not want to sit there and count every word. So I'm kind of in this weird place with handwriting. I do it, I don't really want to do it. I don't know. So yes, no, maybe. I'm still trying to figure out my process. I also kind of like handwriting too because I'm not on the computer, so I'm not being distracted by things that are on the computer as much. So there's that argument towards doing it handwritten too. If this is something you have wrestled with and come to conclusions about, let me know what you think. There's a common area below. You can totally do that. Plotter, pantster, somewhere in between. What the fuck are we talking about? Hold on. I need to look this up. Okay, so what is a plotter or a pantster? I am looking at my second monitor right now, and there's a webpage that I've pulled up for an article called, what's this called? I have to scroll back up. The Pros and Cons of Plotters and Pantsters. It's from the Right Practice. I will put the link down below. Simply put, a plotter is someone who plans out their novel before they write it. A pantster is someone who flies by the seat of their pants, meaning they don't plan out anything or plan very little. Some people, like me, call themselves plansters, which means they're a little of both. In reality, most people are plansters, but some tend to lean heavily to one side. Okay, now I'm caught up with the lingo. I'm probably more of a pantster that's veering a little bit towards the plot, whatever. I don't think I'm a plotter, though. I mean, I'm not even a plotter in my own damn life. I doubt I'm a plotter while writing a novel. I'm kind of a diviner, actually, when it comes to this, because some of the tools that I'm using to write are this and this. This to help kind of define what's happening, the plot, and the tarot cards to kind of define the feeling. And if I'm feeling adventurous, I may throw the tarot charms in there too. I haven't decided yet. We haven't gotten that far. This is the first time I've attempted a project that's longer than a short story, so I really don't know how it's going to go for me in this sense. Might be a good question to ask towards the end. Number 8. How long have you been a writer? Since I learned how to write in kindergarten? Like, that's technically true. Plus, I grew up in the internet age. It's impossible not to be a writer in the internet age because so much of your communication with other people is written. So if you're writing things, you're a writer, just so you know. But I assume the question is more like, how long have you been fiction writing? And it's something I've done kind of off and on most of my life, but never have really committed to. Most of my fiction writing experiences have been in the context of school. There are occasional times when I have kind of veered off into my own territory. Like there was a period of time, I think, between the 7th and 8th grade when a friend of mine and I were writing clueless fan fiction. Before I knew what the word fan fiction was. Once I found out what fan fiction was, I didn't want to do it anymore. But for the most part, like, most of my writing has been, like, write a short story to get a grade to pass a class. I enjoyed it, I thought I should do more of it, and then kind of didn't, because it's a lot easier to do stuff when you're being motivated by a stamp of approval. Number 9, best writing advice, just do it. So I was participating in one of those writers' chats that happen on Twitter. So this one would have been hashtag writers patch, which happens, I think, at 11 a.m. Eastern time on the Twitter. And the topic this past Sunday was procrastination. And one of the, tips that I ended up giving, because I'm so full of writing advice, because I clearly know something about this, not really, was to, break it down into, these micro tasks. Like, if you're really overwhelmed, it's like, I'm gonna write for 5 minutes, and then, write for 5 minutes. And if you feel like writing more after that 5 minutes over, you can totally do that. But, if it still feels shitty, stop. But at least you've done something. And if 5 minutes seems like a long time, do it for 2 minutes. And if you get past 2 minutes, then aim for 5. But break it down, because I think one of the problems, at least that I have with writing, is I want to do all of the things and feel like that I need to spend 8 hours on it. And really, I spend 8 hours worrying and about 5 minutes writing. So if I just do the 5 minutes to begin with, we'd probably not have this whole procrastination problem. So basically my advice is pick a small micro goal and just do it. And number 10, what is your favorite thing about Camp Nano? And so far, I think my favorite thing is the cabins. It's really nice to have a small place to go and ask a question of like, okay, I'm running into this problem with myself. How do y'all get past that? And granted, you can do the same thing with Twitter, and I often do with the various writing related hashtags. But it's like really nice to have the small community and feel like there are at least 11 people whose names I am recognizing and who are being supportive. And I feel like I'm a little more committed to trying to work towards my goal because, okay, now I get to check in with these people and interact with these people. Whereas, like in regular Nano, I don't feel as committed because I don't feel as connected to people, I guess. And I also really like the flexible goals of Camp Nano, where I can pick to measure my time in hours, where I can measure it in pages, I can measure it in words. I think there was another metric that I'm not thinking of, but I like the flexibility of it. And I've always felt that my issue with Nano is like, okay, there's this fixed goal that everybody is working towards no matter what. And I'm just like, but I don't want that goal. I want a smaller goal because I'm not that fast of a writer. And I'm certain I will get faster the more I do it. And I also really like the flexible goals of Camp Nano, where I can pick to measure my time in hours, where I can measure it in pages, I can measure it in words. I think there was another metric that I'm not thinking of, but I like the flexibility of it. And I've always felt that my issue with Nano is like, okay, there's this fixed goal that everybody is working towards no matter what. And I'm just like, but I don't want that goal. I want a smaller goal because I'm not that fast of a writer. And I'm certain I will get faster the more I do it. But with regular Nano, like 1,600 words a day for me just seems untenable. Like, really? I'm going to write that much? No, I'm not. I'm going to write 500 and then I'm going to beat myself up because I'm never going to get there. So I like being able to set my own goal and not have this like arbitrary goal that somebody else is setting for me. And I think I have procrastinated long enough doing this Camp NaNoWriMo Tag that I need to get back to writing. So I hope camp is going well for you if you were doing camp, and if you were not, I hope you have a great day and love your faces. I will see you tomorrow.